looking up at the rest of the South Central Division, but both teams still also have playoff aspirations. Find out which team takes a step in the right direction next as the Major Arena Soccer League presents the Florida Tropics as they host the Orlando SeaWolves. Greetings all, and welcome to the RP Funding Center. Thank you for choosing to spend a few minutes of your time with us at this MASL matchup between the Tropics and the SeaWolves. No strangers to each other. This is the third of 6 meetings between these two clubs this year. They have split the 2 previous games, Florida winning the first one back on December 29th by a 9-6 final, and then Orlando coming back with an 11-6 win a few weeks after that. Victor Pereira's the key for the Tropics tonight. He is their leading scorer, at least that is dressed. He is actually their second leading scorer with 10 goals and 6 assists. Guilherme, their leading goal getter, with 15 goals, not in the lineup tonight. For the Orlando SeaWolves, they have lots of weapons, but none bigger than Gordy Gerson. Even though he is short of stature, he is big of foot. In fact, you go back to that January 12th game here against the SeaWolves and the Tropics, and Gordy scored not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 times in that big win for the SeaWolves. So the Tropics will have to concentrate on shutting down number 3 tonight. You take a look at the South Central Division standings, and quite honestly, it doesn't look great for the Tropics at just 4-10, but the reality is they're just 3.5 games back of Kansas City, which is the team holding the final playoff spot in the division. Kansas City will play here in Lakeland twice, so you win those 2 games, now you're within a game and a half and anything can happen. And Orlando just 2 games behind Kansas City with a bunch of games to come here in February, March, and in April. So both these teams believing they still very much are in the playoff picture, but to get in that race, they have to win here tonight. We'll see who can do it. MASL Major Arena Soccer League action is next. Kickoff in just a moment.
And this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new Pocket Hose Brass Bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the brass bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new brass bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never! Get the incredible 25-foot Pocket Hose Brass Bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot Jet Nozzle free. Order now and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a brass bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your brass bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work toward getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-776-1642. That's 1-800-776-1642.
So, you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So, pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid, your campus is wherever you want it to be. You don't go to college, college goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. You schedule classes around your schedule, and all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. At Independence U, you'll learn from professional instructors with real work experience. You'll get personal support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Get your degree, but keep your life. That's independence. That's Independence University. So if you're really smart, you'd call now.
Call 1-800-343-7292.
Independence U, for an independent you.
Call 1-800-343-7292.
The fabric in this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new Pocket Hose Brass Bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the brass bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new brass bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never! Get the incredible 25-foot Pocket Hose Brass Bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot Jet Nozzle free. Order now and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a brass bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your brass bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you?
Some last-second advice from the respective coaches. Clay Roberts for the Florida Tropics and Tom Traxler for the Orlando SeaWolves in their inaugural campaign. And they have an interesting February, March, and April ahead. We will talk about that in just a moment. Let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Regal Auto. In goal, of course, for Florida, Hugo Silva. Philbo Arriaga and Matt Clare will be out there along with Victor Pereiras and Ricardo Diegues. Arriaga, of course, started the season with Orlando and was let go by the SeaWolves back in December, signed by the Tropics because of all their injuries. Heiner House in goal tonight for Orlando. No Peter Sliwa, who was the goalkeeper for Florida the last 2 years. Yoshio Sandoval, Rojas, Gerson. Thiago Freitas, who's been a great story coming over from Harrisburg. He has been everything that the Tropics had hoped for, and or rather the SeaWolves had hoped for, and then some. We'll talk about his numbers since coming over from the Harrisburg Heat. And you might notice the Tropics not wearing their normal teal and orange tonight. This is American Heart Association night. And so the Tropics wearing special American Heart Association uniforms. They will be available for auction after the game. You can check out the Tropics Facebook page for more information on that, or fltropics.com, and all the proceeds raised by the sale of the game-worn jerseys will, of course, benefit the American Heart Association. So a nice touch by the Tropics here tonight. Of course, their Chief Operating Officer and team owner is Dr. Panos Iacovitos, who's the CEO of Bond Clinic here in Polk County, a thoracic surgeon. So a cause certainly near and dear to his heart, and happy to have the American Heart Association on board tonight as a sponsor. The lineups tonight brought to you by Regal Lakeland. Regal Lakeland has a huge selection of new Hondas, Acuras, GMCs, Kias, and Chevrolets, or the best pre-owned inventory anywhere. Go online to learn more at regallakeland.com. Well, the Tropics hoping for a better start than they had here on January 12th. Victor France, who was playing in his first game of the season, scored less than a minute in to give Orlando a 1-0 lead, and basically the Tropics never recovered. So we're already at the point where the Tropics have gotten off to a better start. Challenged there by Matt Clare, number 99, newly over from the Tacoma Stars. Last 3 years with the San Diego Sockers. Very good player, goal-a-game guy for the last 3 years for San Diego. Has not scored yet for the Tropics, but my one bold prediction for tonight is Matt Clare is going to get at least one. Restart here, dangerous from the top of the arc. Here's a touch off and a shot by Freitas, and that goes out of play. As we mentioned, Freitas coming over from Harrisburg, really goes by Thiago. Challenge out there by Arico. Manfoot comes out, and House beats him to the loose ball near the yellow line. Diegas with it. Now back to Hugo Silva. This is Gordy Gerson now picking it up for Orlando. Easy to spot him with the golden dome. Not quite as golden as Antonio Manfoot tonight, who has been a terrific pickup for the Tropics, along with Andre Brathwaite, who's out there as well. Brathwaite coming over in the deal with Utica for Freddie Mugin, and Manfoot coming over from St. Louis in a deal for Joanne Laidley. This is Mendoza with it. Mendoza tries to get it into the box, but it's actually intercepted by an official there. Comes back out to Osvaldo Rojas. Chance in the box. Here's a turn and a good defensive play that time by Ruiz on a shot and a goal. Osvaldo Rojas picked up the loose ball on the right side of the box, and not quite as quickly as the SeaWolves got out of the gate last time, but quick enough. Just 2 minutes and 2 seconds into the first quarter, and it's the SeaWolves on top 1-0. SeaWolves did not play last weekend. They have had, as we said, a very unusual schedule. I think that last weekend was their third bye weekend already this season. So they come in obviously well rested. The Tropics had just that lone game on the road in Milwaukee to conclude a 3-game road trip. Dropped that one 8-4. Here's a long ball into the box for Diegas, being watched by Richard Schmerman. Diegas tried to turn. Robbie Aristodemo in the lineup tonight for the Tropics. No stranger. He has played off and on for the last couple of years. Coaches up at Montverde Academy in the Orlando area. Has the ball now out at the center line, being watched there by Victor France. J.P. Reyes to Max Touloud, who's been forced back to play defense for Florida for much of his stint here. He is obviously much more of a natural forward or midfielder, really. But with no Lucas Teixeira in the lineup tonight, he remains sidelined and has been so since the middle of December. No Lucas Montoleras, he is out. Here's a chance now again for the Tropics. France with it down the left side. France cuts it across. Nice ball in front. Here's a chance for Alvarez and a goal. Just somehow trickled through. And Orlando with a quick start here again. Less than 4 minutes in. And that's a C&I goal for the SeaWolves, but they all count. And the Wolfpack fans down at that end of the field, the cheering club for the SeaWolves, enjoying this start, and Tropics fans certainly not. That was an unusual goal, to say the least. But it's been that type of frustrating season for the Tropics. Of course, the injury list begins with Guilherme. We haven't really talked much about him. He continues to be out, their leading scorer. Gerson with a steal. Good intercept by Arico, but SeaWolves get it back, and then Arico intercepts again up to Manfoot. 2-on-1 here. Manfoot tried to get it across to Brathwaite, but a nice defensive play by Eduardo Cruz. Arico and one of the SeaWolves bang and go down out at the midfield area. I think that was Rojas, the goal scorer. A little bit shaken up. Freitas will put it in play for Orlando. Freitas, the second leading scorer, Thiago for the SeaWolves. Here's Manfoot, leaves it up for Arico. Arico on the counter, 3-on-2 with the Tropics. Here's Brathwaite. Brathwaite, top of the arc, shot, and that's deflected right on goal, and House is able to make a save. Quick outlet on the near boards to Rojas. Thiago in 10 games has 8 goals and 9 assists this year. So very productive, always has been. Was one of the Heat's leading scorers of the last couple of years. Takedown of Mendoza. There's less contact there than Mendoza would like you to believe, as Dieguez comes over to check on things for just a moment. And there was a fair amount of contact there. Rojas being watched by Arriaga. Is in the AHA mood tonight, the American Heart Association game. Got the red dew going. It's a new look for FIBO. Here's Dieguez. Dieguez shot, and House got a piece of it. So it'll be a corner kick for the Tropics. Good idea by Dieguez to try and catch House perhaps by surprise there. And Heiner just got a hand on it. Manfoot will do the honors here in front. Tried to get it to Dieguez, never got through, too much traffic there. Counter for Orlando. This is Mendoza. He'll slow it up now to France. Apparently they've given Victor France that goal. We'll double check on it for you. So it was Rojas at 2:03, and they're saying Victor France on the goal. Here's a chance in front as Gerson makes a run, but Salute was able to get it out of danger for at least a moment. So it is France at 3:06, so goals just 63 seconds apart. Rojas being watched by Manfoot. Long through ball to Gerson, shot, good leg save by Silva in front to Gerson, leaves it off, shot again, Silva with a good save. France didn't get everything on it, but Silva had to come up with a stop as Gerson had gotten behind Caio Ruiz defensively. Ruiz with it being challenged by Lewis Neal now up to Brathwaite. Has his pocket picked by Rojas. Edwin Rojas 21, Osvaldo Rojas 77. No relation, I don't believe. As Brathwaite runs into Neal, and there's a whistle and a foul. It was Osvaldo Rojas who had the hat trick here in the loss back December 29th. It's that good play by Hugo Silva on the attempt by Gerson. Very nice pass to Gerson in the box. Toulouse will step ahead, literally and figuratively. Sandoval comes up with it though for Orlando. All the way back to Schmerman, back after a one-game absence. He was suspended because of points accumulation. Here's Sandoval with it. Sandoval off the boards in front, tried to find Gerson on the run. Gerson still with it. Now taken out of there. Cleared by Pereiras back out to Schmerman. Long shot right on Silva with a relatively easy save. He saw that one all the way from Schmerman, who let it fly from about 55 feet. Here's Manfoot, tries to get by Thiago. Double teamed over there. Now Gerson, and finally Manfoot going to be called for being a bit too aggressive on the challenge with Gerson. And now I think the Tropics going to be issued a delay warning. Antonio still trying to plead his case over there a little bit. Just really the one good chance by Dieguez, and that was not a spectacular one, but a quick shot. Here's Rojas being challenged in there by a couple of Tropics defenders. Comes in front, still loose, side of the box, now to the side of the box again. And Robbie Aristodemo got a piece of that one and knocked it away. Brathwaite challenges Rojas. He gets it back to Schmerman. Across the floor now to Mendoza, back to Schmerman. SeaWolves with 2 goals in the opening 3:06 have controlled most of the play here in the first quarter. Ball across to Moda. Dieguez on him. Moda comes out of there with it. Now Arico flies in there, and there's a hold by Moda, a little bit of a frustration. Arico with a pretty strong challenge to win it on the far boards there. One of the nice things about Anthony's game this year is he has kept that intensity and emotion, but gotten rid of a lot of the dumb penalties that he had taken because of that over the last few seasons. Really has been noticeable this year, his play. Long ball ahead to Arriaga. Mendoza in there, and he'll play it back to House. Gets it out to Freitas. Arico going to try and track it down here, and does. Good play by Anthony, and then he's taken down, and a whistle and a foul. And had to be, otherwise Orlando had a 3-on-0 opportunity. So the Tropics will get a restart from between their yellow line and the midfield circle. Long ball down to Dieguez. Dieguez with it at the yellow line. JP Reyes will look to set things up offensively here for Florida. Tropics will get some fresh legs back out there as Manfoot hops over the boards. Brathwaite also steps onto the pitch here. Some pressure by Victor France, also by Mendoza. And Mendoza called for the foul on Matt Clare. Clare wearing number 99. Gets it ahead to Brathwaite. Back to Clare. Clare, long shot from the yellow line on the rebound, and Clare just misses near post. He'll head to the bench on a line change. 3-on-2 for Orlando. Here's France. France cross, good defensive read by Reyes, and then Brathwaite back there to help out. Ahead for Ruiz. Ruiz trying to settle it down. France recovering on the right side to Arico. Arico couldn't get the shot away. And then gets double teamed and has it taken away by Alvarez. And now Cruz in there to help, but the Tropics recover. Arico picks up the loose ball over to JP Reyes. Arico will head to the bench here. Hugo trying to get his guys to move forward as Toulouse being watched closely by Osvaldo Rojas. Silva right back to Toulouse. Toulouse to Pereiras. Pereiras over to Ruiz now. Ruiz, shot, good save, House, rebound, shot, that just goes high. Good chance for Dieguez. Arriaga will pick it up. Gerson will come out to keep an eye on a former teammate. Here's Robbie Aristodamo. Aristodamo leaves it off for Arriaga. To Tulute. Trying to get it into the Florida zone, blocked by one of the SeaWolves forwards. Arriaga with some pressure up to Rojas. Rojas double teamed and tries to get by Tulute, can't do it, no whistle. Officials say play on. Chance for a counter here for the Tropics. Manfoot with it, Manfoot trying to create some space. Gets by Sandoval, and then Brathwaite picks it up. Brathwaite off to Manfoot, shot, good sliding block in there by Sandoval. And then House comes out to end the threat. Pressure by the Tropics. Good defensive play by Tulute. Tulute still with it. Takes it off the sideboards and gets it over to Reyes. Tulute's got as good a 1v1 skills as anyone on the floor tonight. Not always easy to take advantage of that when he has to play defense, but saw some of that right there. Very creative, leads the club in assists. Long ball down to Matt Clare. Back on top to Pereiras. Pereiras over to Brathwaite, back to Pereiras. This is Boateng with it, actually. Melvin Boateng, number 24, his first home start. Has had 3 on the road, last 3 road games for the Tropics, but his first appearance here at home, a push by Osvaldo Rojas, so the Tropics will get a restart here. Melvin been training with the Tropics all along, a little bit injured for the early part of the season, so really didn't have a chance to make the lineup, but now in there. Boateng tries to get the pass, couldn't control it. Finally, Ruiz will pick it up and get it to J.P. Reyes, and he'll play it all the way back to Silva. Tropics would love to at least cut the lead in half here before the end of the quarter. It's a long ball down for Tulute now. Moving up from his offensive position. J.P. Reyes with a challenge. Back to House now. Neal with it. Looks like Andre Brathwaite might have changed his number tonight. Is he number 11 out there? Yeah, I think he is. There's a shot by Neal, goes wide. Gerson with the rebound. He couldn't control it. Ruiz and Cruz battling, still battling. Ruiz trying to get by, couldn't do it. His double team now. Gerson in there, and he takes it away. Minute and a half to go. Been no scoring since the 3:06 mark of this first quarter for Atos. Cruz, and now over to House, who will come off his line over the yellow line. Of course, can't take it any farther than the midfield line. Here's Gerson with a little redirect. Easy save by Hugo Silva there. Silva with some pressure from Schmerman, just clearing the zone, and Rojas will track it down and then lose possession here.
Tropics VIP tickets and more. For more information about Southern Homes, log on to mysouthernhome.com.
Not sure what we've got going on here. May have an official's timeout. Yeah, I guess it is. Not sure. Clay Roberts talking to the officials about something, but both clubs on the floor to take a timeout, so we'll step aside quickly as well. Just exactly a minute to go. It's Orlando 2, Florida nothing. More MASL soccer in just a moment. Tropics very happy to be home tonight, even though the start hasn't been quite what they were looking for. They have won all 4 of the games they have in the win column right here at the RP Funding Center. They are winless on the road this season and have lost 10 straight away from the RP Funding Center now in a streak that stretches all the way back to February of last season. Had a real heartbreaker in Kansas City a couple of weekends ago against the Comets. Played a terrific game, really one of Florida's best of the season. It was 4-4 in the dying seconds of the fourth quarter. Looked for all the world like the two teams would be heading to overtime. And with 5 seconds to go, actually with 2.5 seconds to go, the Tropics were called for a penalty. A shootout ensued, and the league's leading scorer, Leo Gibson, made no mistake on the shootout, and Kansas City wins 5-4 in the final 2 seconds. And that's kind of how it's been this year for the Tropics. Just not enough depth. Almost no team in this league with the kind of depth that you could withstand the injuries that the Florida side has had to try and work through this season. Brathwaite trying to track it down in front of Rojas does. Then taken away by Rojas, and a whistle and a foul against Brathwaite. Orlando wanted a quick restart there. Good idea by Thiago, but referees decided against it. So Schmerman will get it over to Thiago. Now to House, being challenged by Brathwaite. So a long ball into the Florida end of the field. Good bounce and just missed as Rojas pulled the trigger from about 20 feet. Thiago will track it down at the horn. So the Tropics hoping maybe to cut the lead in half. Fortunate perhaps that Orlando did not stretch it to 3 on that last chance by Rojas. So 15 minutes in the books here at the RP Funding Center tonight, and Orlando pretty much in control. Both goals in the first. There's the first as banged in by Osvaldo Rojas, and then the second they will credit to Victor France. Back in a moment with more MASL soccer.
The fabric in this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new Pocket Hose Brass Bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the brass bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new brass bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never. Get the incredible 25-foot Pocket Hose Brass Bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot Jet Nozzle free. Order now and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a brass bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your brass bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work toward getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-776-1642. That's 1-800-776-1642.
Underway here at the RP Funding Center. Second quarter action between the Florida Tropics and the first-year Orlando SeaWolves. Here's the ball looking for Diego Sandoval in there to take it away. Sandoval will try to lead it up for Gordy Gerson. Goes over the sideboards. Gerson, just a phenomenal player in the league. 92 games played in his career and 207 points in those 92 games coming into tonight. 147 goals. He's just been a goal scorer ever since he joined the league back in 2014-15 with the Tacoma Stars. Spent a couple of seasons in St. Louis, then 3 years with Cedar Rapids, which kind of morphed into the Orlando SeaWolves in the offseason. About a half dozen or so SeaWolves played for the Rampage last year, including their starting goaltender tonight, Heiner House. Here's Manfoot with it. Manfoot looking for some help, doesn't have anybody. 1 against 4, literally. And finally, the Tropics get some players on the floor on the line change. But Orlando will control. Did not know that Gordy Gerson was born in Buffalo. Knows a thing or two about snow. Played at Robert Morris University for 3 years in the township of Moon, Pennsylvania. Happen to know that because a good friend of mine is the women's basketball coach at Robert Morris University. So as you can see, the SeaWolves got off to a quick start. Rojas at 2:03, France at 3:06, and that's where we stand. There has not been a goal yet. Here's Carreras on the restart shot, and that didn't miss by much. Tried to pick the top corner, and here's a counter for Orlando, but fortunately Rico back and is able to play it all the way back to Silva. Gerson will put the pressure on. Gordy was the MASL Rookie of the Year in 2014-15. That was his first season in St. Louis. Here's Brathwaite. Oh, he had Aristodemo, never got it to him. Now here's Brathwaite with the shot, and Sandoval got in front of that one. In front, and House is able to pick that one up off the boards. Long outlet on the right side now to Rojas. He'll wait for some help. He's got Gerson briefly, but Gordy's going to head to the bench now after a pretty productive shift. Lewis Neal with it. Back to House. Looking for Rojas to loot in there. Rojas turns, and we have a handball called against Rojas. So Florida will get the restart. Tropics, as we said, without Guilherme tonight and his 15 goals. No Lucas Teixeira, continues to nurse a hip injury. Thought that he was about ready to come back and play. In fact, he made the road trip last weekend, and or rather 2 weekends ago. The road trip to St. Louis and then Kansas City, and felt something in that hip in the pregame warm-ups in St. Louis and did not play and still not dressed. So kind of a tough setback for Lucas Teixeira, who was named this past week the coach of the Tropics' new United Premier Soccer League franchise, the Tropics SC, that will play this summer. Here's Diegues with it. Diegues leaves it off for Manfoot. Manfoot in the corner has it taken away, and Rojas will come up with it at midfield, challenged by Toulouse, and Toulouse comes out of there with it. Now Rojas, and he will get it over. This is Thiago being challenged by Toulouse. Back to Schmerman. Intercept by Diegues, and a good play by House as he was out of the box and almost got caught a little too far off his line by Ricardo, who is so clever. Scores a lot of imaginative goals, and that would have been one right there. Player with it for Florida. Prior to this season, 3 years with the San Diego Sockers, he had 56 goals in 57 games. So he knows a thing or two about the back of the net. Here's Arico with it. Anthony drives it into the Orlando end. Brathwaite couldn't quite get there, and neither could Arriaga, and it'll be cleared by House. Silva with the long ball down, looking for the 6'2" Andre Brathwaite. Hard to miss him out there. Wearing number 11 tonight. He's been wearing number 6 up until this evening, but with the special American Heart Association uniforms, he's got number 11 on, which is the number Ricardo Diegues wore for the first couple of years here in Lakeland. Toulouse gets around Gerson. Gets it ahead for Manfoot. Manfoot to the yellow line. Leaves it off for J.P. Reyes, veteran defender. J.P., the only player in the Tropics' entire roster that has played every game this year. Here's Toulouse. Toulouse with a shot blocked by Gerson, and that's something that Gordy does very well as well. Talk about all his goal-scoring prowess, but he is a very good two-way player. Comes back and makes a lot of big defensive plays. Not the last time we will call his name tonight in the defensive third, I can promise you. Arico with it. Loses it. Long bid by Mario Alvarez. No Luke Bowden tonight for Orlando. At least we haven't seen him on the floor. Claire gets it over to Manfoot. Manfoot back to Claire. Gets it ahead to Anthony Arico. Arico cuts to the top of the arc. Tried the little back heel to Claire, but that little clever attempt was sniffed out nicely by Mario Alvarez. Now here's a steal by Diegues. Diegues still with possession. Diegues gets it over to Claire with a shot blocked by Sandoval. Comes all the way back out to the yellow line now. Tropics with a little more offensive thrust here in the second quarter. Territorially, they have definitely had the edge. Brathwaite with it. Back out to Ruiz. Ruiz gets it over to Arriaga and then back to Arico, and now over to Victor Pereras. Looking for his 11th of the year. Pereras goes to the left foot, off the boards in front. Header missed there by Ruiz. On the rebound, here's Arico at the yellow line. Long shot, deflection, and House makes a good save. That was tougher than it looked. Silva will come out to make sure Thiago didn't get there first. Tropics need a change here. Chested out to Alvarez. Gerson can't quite get it, but he will collect it along the far boards, being watched by Aristodemo. And that will go out of play, and it'll be a kick in for Orlando here. Just one other game tonight in the MASL. That has the Kansas City Comets hosting the Milwaukee Wave. We'll talk more about that and some of the action around the MASL last night, which was a very big night in arena soccer. We'll tell you why in just a minute. First of all, we'll step aside. It's still Orlando 2, Florida nothing. Back with more major Arena Soccer League action in a moment. Glad to have you along at the RP Funding Center here in Lakeland, Florida tonight, the Swan City. They call it that because of the white trumpeter swans that dot the lakes in downtown Lakeland. Actually, a gift many decades ago from the Queen of England, believe it or not. And they have stayed around all this time, and that's why they call Lakeland the Swan City. The Tropics Booster Club is called the Swan City Syndicate. haven't had a lot to cheer about here tonight so far. Although it's been a better second quarter for Florida. Silva with the long ball ahead to Boateng. Boateng shot, and that is well wide. Here's Clare picking it up on the rebound. Over to Manfoot. Manfoot tried to get it through to Boateng, and there's a whistle and a foul and a restart coming up here for the Tropics from a dangerous spot. No blue card, as Manfoot took quite a tumble. Take a look at there on the replay. It was Sandoval who got a piece of him, and now we do have a blue card that has come out. That was late. And I'm assuming that'll be against Sandoval. And it looks like Yoshio heading to the box. So the Tropics will get a power play here. And a chance indeed to cut this Orlando lead to just one.
Tropics fans, we're in striking distance.
Florida on the power play this year. 56% conversion rate, which is pretty good. Orlando on the penalty kill, 58. There's a quick shot and a save by House. It'll be a corner kick restart as Dieguez pulled the trigger on the shot from the side of the box there. Tried to catch House perhaps a little by surprise. Good idea. So Victor Pereira will wait for one of the fans here to get it back over the glass, and there we go. Good job, Nikki. Got her American Heart Association red on tonight. Corner kick for the Tropics. Pereiras will do the honors to Dieguez. Shot, and that just misses, and I think House got a piece of that one. Here's Pereiras. Pereiras hit the yellow line to Ruiz. Down low to Dieguez. Back on top to Pereiras. Pereiras with a long shot. That just missed. Clare with the rebound. He'll get it back out to Pereiras. He scored from distance, Victor did, in that loss to Milwaukee. Here's a 2-on-1 chance for Orlando. And a good play by Pereiras as he comes back, and they will call a handball against Pereiras. The Orlando bench up in arms over that one, no pun intended. And finally the whistle. So Sandoval will get a restart here from outside the yellow line, but the Tropics fortunate that that didn't develop into anything worse. Tropics actually had 2 shorthanded goals in a game here earlier this season. I think that was that first Orlando win. Here's a long shot by Schmerman, and that's blocked. Clare will play it back to Silva. Jonathan Mendoza in there to challenge. Forces Silva to get rid of it rather quickly. Here's Pereiras back over to Matt Clare now. Matt Clare out there on the power play along with Ruiz, Pereiras, Dieguez, and Andre Brathwaite. Here's Pereiras to Ruiz. Ruiz couldn't trap it. Clare will reset it back to Pereiras now. 54 seconds left in the man advantage here for Florida. Here's Dieguez. Dieguez to Pereiras. Pereiras over to Ruiz. Ruiz down low to Clare. Back on top to Ruiz. Here's Pereiras. Pereiras fires, never got a good piece of it. Here's Brathwaite with it, leaves it off for Dieguez, tried to get it back on top to Pereiras. Nice play by Jonathan Mendoza to get out of the zone. Brathwaite back, and he will run Mendoza off it. And the Tropics will recover with 20 seconds to go in the man advantage. One last chance here to set up in the Orlando end. Brathwaite off to Ruiz. Ruiz can't control it. Sandoval has it. Sandoval, and it'll go out of play, and it'll be a restart here for Florida with just 8 seconds left in the power play. Pereiras down to Dieguez. Dieguez gets it over to Clare. Clare very good from sharp angles. Here's Ruiz with a shot that never got through. Power play is over as Rojas is back on. So the first penalty kill of the night for Orlando. Here's a chance in front and a goal. Nice move by Rojas at the yellow line to create an opportunity, and Gordy Gerson gets the redirect, and it's 3-0 Orlando. Gerson with his 16th now of the season. But credit Rojas getting around Pereiras, who had spent the full 2 minutes out there on the penalty kill, so his legs were pretty heavy, and Rojas did a nice job to get around him and found Gerson at the back post. So that is a big momentum swing back into Orlando's favor. Not only do they kill the penalty, but seconds after coming back to full strength, they add their third of the night. Rico will play it down to Boateng. Takes a funny bounce off the turf, and Orlando will get the restart here. Long ball looking for Hugo out of the goal, but that did not work as Edwin Rojas thought he saw something there. So the restart will belong to Hugo here. Outlets it on the left side to Robbie Aristodemo. He is body checked by Thiago, and Freitas comes out of there with it, and Arico steps up. Arico looking for some help. Gives it to Boateng. Boateng being challenged by Thiago. Boateng still with it, trying to press forward. Still with it. Nice move by Boateng off the board. Still with possession. Good job by Melvin Boateng over to Arico. Arico gets it back out to J.P. Reyes to Manfoot. Manfoot, top of the arc, Arico. Arico didn't have any space, being marked in there smartly by Edwin Rojas. Tropics really in need of a goal here to get the fire lit. Has not been a bad second quarter, but the only goal of the period belongs to the SeaWolves. Here's Boateng with it, being watched by Victor Franz. Back to Arriaga and now to Arico. Over to Claire. Claire, native of Tampa, so his acquisition by Florida a couple of weeks ago, a homecoming of sorts. His dad used to play for the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, so he comes from good pedigree. Arico over to Victor. Pereiras being watched by the goal getter, Gordy Gerson. Pereiras drives into the corner. Look for Claire cutting through the box. Now Arriaga steps up, gets it in front. Dieguez can't control it. Still banging around in there, and finally cleared out to the center line. Arriaga tried to head it into Dieguez, and Gerson needed a line shift and sent it all the way on goal. Here's Arico trying to get by Moda. Arico in front. The house came out with the angle and a good save. Took it off the boards. Dieguez was lurking out there in front. Silva comes out, and he will head it back out to the midfield circle, but Orlando will keep possession. Victor Franz with it, and he will head to the bench. Alvarez gets it ahead. That was Rojas who played it back to Jonathan Mendoza and all the way back to Heiner House, working on a shutout here in the first half. That's something you see all that often in arena soccer. Toulouse with a challenge, but a win by Rojas, and there's a shot that just misses. Toulouse comes out of there with it to Dieguez. 3-on-1 here for the Tropics. Pereiras, though. Pereiras tries to play it off the boards. He does the Toulouse. Toulouse fires, and House gets a piece of that one. Here's Aristodemo following up on top. The Pereiras shot. That never got through. Good defensive block in there. I think it was Rojas who got a piece of that one, and we have an injured Orlando player. That is Osvaldo Rojas down on the far boards. Being looked at over there by Eduardo Cruz. Lloyd Knudsen, the Tropics trainer, going to head out to take a look as well. That was, I think he may have tumbled into the boards, and that may have been the issue. That is always a concern in this game when you get around the dasher boards. Had a car accident or have a personal injury, then look to Brooks, our official injury attorneys. Go to brookslawgroup.com or call 1-800-LAW-3030. Here's Toulouse with a chance, and that actually got by House and just missed on the short side. And there's actually, Rojas, it wasn't the boards, it was a shot taken by Aristodemo that he got in front of, and then looks like maybe he got hung up a little bit on maybe the calf or the ankle there. It looks like the ankle they're taking a look at now. So Guardian Wealth Management realizes all the financial challenges that people face, whether it be managing debt or saving for college. Our mission is to help every single client meet their individual financial needs. For personal service, innovative ideas, and practical advice, go to guardianwealth.com. So Rojas will gingerly head to the Orlando bench. The Tropics back on the road. In fact, this is the first of 5 straight between either Orlando and St. Louis between now and March 15th. The Tropics back on the road at St. Louis next weekend, Sunday matinee, and then their first of 3 trips towards the end of the season into Orlando, the first one on Saturday, March 2nd. The Ambush will return their visit on Sunday, March 10th, one of 2 Sunday matinees for the Tropics in March. And then this little 5-game stretch between Orlando, St. Louis, and Florida will conclude on the 15th, or rather the 15th. Here is Toulouse. Toulouse pressing ahead, shot, and he just missed far post. My goodness. Great effort by Toulouse. He got by a couple of San Diego defenders at the top of the box and just missed far post. Maybe actually the best scoring chance the Tropics have had all game. That is 2 posts or near posts that Toulouse has hit in the last minute. He had Manfoot there far post as well, but Antonio couldn't get a redirect. Back to Silva. Tropics trying to press here to get at least one and have something to feel positive about heading into the locker room. I mean, they have had the better chances here in the second quarter, no question, but have not been able to find the back of the net yet. I don't know where the fire truck is tonight. First time we haven't had the fire truck behind the goal. Maybe that's the problem. Here's Arico. J.P. Reyes with it now. Reyes with a little bit of Orlando indoor soccer history. He played with the Orlando Sharks briefly. Gerson with it. Sharks back in, I think it was 2007, 2008 in the old MISL. Brathwaite long shot and a goal! Much needed for the Tropics in the final minute here of the first half. Andre Brathwaite, his 6th goal in 6 games now for the Tropics. He and Antonio Manfoot have been true breaths of fresh air. And Brathwaite being watched by Gerson, but decided to pull the trigger. And I don't know if House had a real good look at that or not. Had a couple of defenders in front, and Brathwaite able to power it home. So a big goal for Florida, makes it at least a 3-1 game here. Pressure by Pereiras. Sandoval with it. Orlando with a chance here. Good defensive play by Toulouse. Tries to get it to Pereiras. Pereiras knocked away by Sandoval. You don't want to give up one here now. Still 17 seconds to go. Here's the long ball by Schwerman. Redirect by Gerson. And that just misses. France with it. Gets it down to Gordy. Back heel to France. Look out here. France tries to get it across to Gerson. Can't. Headed out of there by Ruiz, and time will expire. So Orlando indeed pressing for a 4th here before the end of the half. But the Tropics are able to at least get on the board with their first of the night. Andre Brathwaite, his 6th of the season for the Tropics, with just 36 seconds to play. So Lots to talk about at intermission. We'll talk about what happened in San Diego last night in case you missed it. And we'll talk about other league news as well. But at the moment, the Tropics will try and build on this goal by Andre Brathwaite in the final minute. Halftime here at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland, Florida. It is Orlando 3, the Florida Tropics 1. Back with more Major Arena Soccer League action in just a bit.
The fabric in this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new Pocket Hose Brass Bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the brass bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new brass bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never! Get the incredible 25-foot Pocket Hose Brass Bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot Jet Nozzle free. Order now and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a brass bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your brass bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work toward getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-776-1642. That's 1-800-776-1642.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Halftime here at the RP Funding Center. Glad to have you along. Brian Ackley with you with the MASL action here tonight in Lakeland. One other game in the league tonight, and that is out in Kansas City where the Comets and Wave will be playing. We'll talk about some of the league news in just a bit. Second quarter summary, short and sweet. Gordy Gerson at 9:52, his 16th goal of the year, made it 3-0, and we'll see if the Tropics indeed can build on that last-minute goal by Andre Brathwaite coming at 14:38 to make it a 3-1 score here at halftime. Brathwaite coming over from Utica City FC in that trade that sent Freddie Mugin to the Utica City side. Around the MASL, just underway just a couple of minutes ago, or actually just getting ready to get underway in Kansas City, the Comets and the Wave. But the big news around the MASL last night in San Diego, where the Sockers and Tacoma Stars did it up right before a crowd of more than 8,400 in San Diego, watching the debut of Landon Donovan for the San Diego Sockers, perhaps the most decorated and well-known name in the history of U.S. men's soccer. All-time leading scorer in MLS and for the U.S. national men's team. Signing, of course, with the Sockers a few weeks ago. He made his debut in San Diego, and it was big news in San Diego and all around the soccer world. Congratulations to the Sockers on that coup and getting Landon Donovan to join their side. He's a San Diego resident, and at 36 still has a lot left in the tank. He did not score last night, but he did actually have a nice assist on what turned out to be the game-winning goal. Unfortunately for fans here in the Sunshine State, no scheduled visits this year by the Sockers either to Orlando or here in Lakeland. So we'll keep an eye on that Milwaukee-Kansas City game. That, of course, has playoff implications in the South Central, and Orlando and Florida will both, I promise you, be rooting hard for the Milwaukee Wave. We'll come back and talk more about things indoor soccer in just a moment. It's halftime at the RP Funding Center. It's the Orlando SeaWolves 3 and the Florida Tropics 1. Back in just a minute.
The fabric in this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new Pocket Hose Brass Bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the brass bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new brass bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never! Get the incredible 25-foot Pocket Hose Brass Bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot Jet Nozzle free. Order now, and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a brass bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your brass bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work toward getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-776-1642. That's 1-800-776-1642. Well, there are some happy fans here in the RP Funding Center tonight. Maybe they made the trip over from Orlando, not sure, but glad to have the young ones in the house as the SeaWolves get off to the quick start. 2 goals in the first 3 minutes and 6 seconds of the game and lead it by a score of 3-1 here at halftime. So let's take a look at some of those first half highlights, goals and saves. Hugo Silva and Heiner House tested regularly, especially in that second quarter, as House had to come up with a number of big saves. But early on, it was all Orlando, and there's the first goal of the game, as we mentioned. Just
a little more than 2 minutes in by the SeaWolves. And then the second one that was really a goofy one right there. Just if there's a goal that sums up the Tropics season, it might be that one, is Victor Franz got credit for it, and that made it 2-0. There's the Gerson goal that made it 3-0 on the nice play by Rojas. But the Tropics were able to get one late, and that is something to build on as Andre Brathwaite surprises House from about 55, maybe even 60 feet out. And the Tropics on American Heart Association night have a pulse, as their uniform shows, as they lead it by, as Orlando leads it, though, by a 3-1 count. So we'll see what Clay Roberts and the rest of the Tropics can come up with at halftime. We'll be back with more halftime stats and information as we get ready for the third quarter. More MASL soccer in just a moment.
The fabric in this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new Pocket Hose Brass Bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the brass bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new brass bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never. Get the incredible 25-foot Pocket Hose Brass Bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot Jet Nozzle free. Order now and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a brass bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your brass bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work toward getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-776-1642. That's 1-800-776-1642.
So you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So pop quiz. Which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid, your campus is wherever you want it to be. You don't go to college. College goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. You schedule classes around your schedule, and all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. At Independence U, you'll learn from professional instructors with real work experience. You'll get personal support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Get your degree, but keep your life. That's independence. That's Independence University. So if you're really smart, you'd call now.
Call 1-800-343-7292.
Independence U, for an independent you.
Call 1-800-343-7292.
Let's take a look at some of the first half numbers. They weren't really as lopsided as you might think. In fact, as we mentioned, the Tropics played a pretty good second quarter and actually outshot Orlando 9-3 in that second quarter. Shots for the entire first half. The Tropics with 12, Orlando with 10. Hugo Silva with 7 saves, Heiner House with 6 for the SeaWolves. The fouls 5 apiece, and the one real stat of note, the Tropics unable to convert on a power play midway through that second quarter when Osvaldo Rojas was sent off for tripping at 7:39. But the SeaWolves were able to kill off that man advantage for Florida and then actually came right back and scored that Gordy Gerson goal at the 9:52 mark. So less than 20 seconds after the power play ended, Gerson on that pretty assist by Rojas made it 3-0, and it looked like that was a real momentum changer, but the Tropics able to fend off a couple of Orlando opportunities and then get that late goal by Brathwaite. So we'll see if the Tropics are able to move forward in a positive manner, at least a little more positive situation than it looked like they might head to the locker room with. As a couple of Orlando players a little late getting onto the floor, they're out there now. And we will get ready to go as Ricardo Villegas and a couple of the Orlando players share a light moment. There's a look at Gordy Gerson doing the honors here to kick things off to start the third quarter. Sandoval being pressured by Pereiras over to House. Now on the near side to Rojas. This is Thiago with it. Back to Victor France, back in the lineup. After sitting out the first 4 or 5 games for the SeaWolves. In fact, that game here January 12th, which was kind of the low water mark for the Tropics in their 3 seasons, was Victor's first game back. That was the game that Orlando won 11-6 here and prompted several roster changes, including the trade for Brathwaite, the trade for Manfoot as Gerson picks up his second of the night just 52 seconds in. Tough start here for the Tropics in the third quarter, so whatever goodwill they might have had from the Brathwaite goal quickly evaporates. Gerson now with 17 on the season. Have to check and see where that puts him among the league leaders. He's not there yet because the Orlando has only played 9 games coming into tonight. Most of the teams in the league have played 12, 13, 14 or so games. But in just 10 games now, Gerson with 17 goals. Here's Brathwaite being watched by Schmerman. Arico leaves it off for J.P. Reyes. Leo Gibson is the league's leading scorer out in Kansas City. Brathwaite waiting for it, and he'll have to wait a little longer. Goes over the glass and out of play. Gibson with 41 points to lead the league this year. Frank Tayu is the goals leader. Frank the Tank with 22. Ian Bennett of Milwaukee leads the conference in scoring with 20 goals, but he has played 13 games going into the game tonight in Kansas City. So gives you an idea on the pace that Gordy Gerson is on here for Orlando this year. Arico will have a little space to operate at the center line. Arico into the Orlando zone, down to Reyes. Reyes back out to Arico. So the Tropics penetrate, but then pull it right back out. Silva with it. Over to Tlut and back to Silva. Long ball looking for Brathwaite, punched out of there nicely by House. Matt Clare will, or rather Arriaga. To Ruiz, shot, goal! Kyle Ruiz from about 25 feet, right at the top of the penalty arc. Think House got a piece of it, but Ruiz powers it in. And for Kyle, that's his third of the season. And the Tropics with an answer here rather quickly, which is good news. 4-2, they might want to they might want to stop turning the lights out when the play is on. That might be a good thing. That's all right. Goal celebration a little long, but they've been far and few between tonight, so I guess you got to enjoy them when you get them. Here's Gerson. Tries to bang it off the dasher boards. It goes out of play. Fibo Arriaga with the assist, the former SeaWolf. So might be the kind of half where we see a whole ton of goals. Not a lot in the first half, but the Tropics are not going to be real conservative, I don't think, here in the second half. They need to create some offense and hope that they don't give up too many easy ones. Here's France with it. Good play by Arico. France, though, will control into the Florida end of the field. Arico on the recovery. Now a cut down to Gerson off the boards, looking for France in front, but a nice play by Arico to head it back to his goalkeeper, Hugo Silva. He'll look deep downfield to Pereiras, almost got by, I think it might have been Sandoval, we'll see, but it doesn't matter. Pereiras called for the push there. That was actually Luis Mota, who Pereiras was jostling with. That's why it almost got by Mota with the little push there. There's Lewis Neal with it for Orlando. Gets it into the Florida end of the field. Chance a shot. Ooh, good leg save by Silva. Just got a piece of it. Rojas will track it down. Rojas gets it all the way back out to Neal, one of the Orlando City MLS players that the SeaWolves signed here in their inaugural campaign. Neal playing 21 games with Orlando City in 2015. He spent 3 years with DC United. Played in 53 games there as the bid from distance goes over the glass and out of play. Actually was in Orlando in 2011 in the USL before joining the MLS. Pressure by Diegues, and it almost pays off. It still may. Here's Diegues. Oh, nice little bicycle kick try, and House was able to outsmart Ricardo there. Pressure again. Ruiz with the deflection that goes out of play as the Tropics try and step up their attack. Milwaukee with the early lead now in Kansas City, 2-0. That will sit well with these two clubs. As we said, Kansas City at 7-6, just in second place in the South Central. Orlando just 2 games behind Kansas City, and despite the Tropics' woes, they are just 3.5 back, and will get Kansas City here at the RP Funding Center twice in March. Diegues battling in there, finally taken down by Mendoza. There's a whistle and a foul, and they will call it just a foul, no blue card, as Diegues and Mendoza really were in close quarters battling for that one. Here you can see Diegues being taken down, and thought maybe the blue card would come out, but it did not. So Ricardo Diegues will be out there with Toulouse, Arriaga, Manfoot, and Ruiz. Touch off to Toulouse, over to Manfoot. Manfoot shot, goal! Antonio Manfoot has his 6th in 6 games. Nice little back heel by Toulouse, who will pick up another assist. And Manfoot, making no mistake, didn't see if the sunglasses came out on the celebration yet. Antonio Jose Manfoot. Boy, these two guys have both been impressive for the Tropics. if Florida could ever get healthy. I mean, they haven't been anywhere close to a full roster this year. Of course, Diegas and Freddie Mugin, the two leading scorers from last year, were injured right from the start of the season. Here's a long shot by Sandoval, goes out of play. So the Tropics, as close as they have been all night, after giving up 2 in the game's first 3 minutes, have cut it to 4-3 here. And definitely a little spring in the step here all of a sudden for the Florida Tropics. Long outlet looking for Boateng, making his first shift of the quarter. Ahead to Victor France. J.P. Reyes trying to recover France. And J.P. going to be called for the hold. And this will be a dangerous restart from the top of the arc. J.P. arguing it was legal contact, and of course Orlando arguing it should be a blue card. Properly just a foul right at the top of the arc here. So look out, Gordy will be bidding for his third of the game. You can see Reyes in the battle there. Sandoval will do the restart. The officials want the wall back a step. Sandoval with it. See if he lays it off to Gordy here. In the corner, shot Silva with the save. Had that one sniffed out for Mario Alvarez. Long outlet down to Pereiras. Pereiras controls it and didn't have the numbers, so he will wisely bring it back out to the center circle to Arriaga. Over to the goal scorer Manfoot. To Claire. Claire long into the corner to Boateng. Boateng didn't have any help, and Gerson picks up the loose ball. Being challenged by Boateng. Boateng sticks a leg in there and will be whistled for the foul. Long into the Florida end. It's Alvarez who picks it up, leaves it off for Rojas. There's a shot that goes well wide as Alvarez tried to tee it up.
Or go to rotoconstruction.com. Roto Construction builds many things, and trust is just one of the things they build well.
Are you in search of a new career? Let Staff Builders HR help you. We have a huge variety of positions from office staff to welders. We place great people with great companies. Log on to staffbuildershr.com. Enjoyed our visit out there a couple of weeks ago to film our Tropics Weekly show that you can catch every Wednesday on the Tropics Facebook page. Had a chance last week to visit Abuelo's Mexican restaurant here in Lakeland and talk to Lucas Teixeira about the new United Premier Soccer League franchise that the Tropics will debut in a couple of months out at the Lake Myrtle Sports Park. And the chance for the Tropics to host the U.S. Open Cup game in May. For the second straight year, their USL League Two team, the Lakeland Tropics, qualifying for the U.S. Open Cup. Of course, the Lakeland team had to go on the road all the way to Texas, believe it or not, last year for their opening round game loss. So they're very hopeful, perhaps, of hosting the game out at Lake Myrtle later in May. Nice little move by Pereiras, and he's taken down. So those two goals for the Tropics coming 2 minutes and 4 seconds apart. Here's Pereiras. Pereiras at the yellow line, gets it over to Aristodemo, and he will play it back out to J.P. Reyes. Pereiras with it, gets it across the floor to Reyes, but Reyes unable to control the pass. 2-on-2 here for Orlando. Mendoza with it, he's double teamed, taken down by Toulouse, no whistle. Tropics with a change. Pereira still out there. Directing traffic to J.P. Reyes on the right side. J.P. with a shot. That's blocked. Got to be quick on the trigger in this game. Pereiras with it. Back to Toulouse. Toulouse being shoved by Rojas.
Salute still with it. Tries to get through a couple of Orlando defenders, and finally Rojas going to be whistled for the foul. Should have been a delay warning there for Orlando, as Manfoot has it. Manfoot gets it challenged by Neal and taken away by Neal. Oh, Claire almost picked the pocket of one of the Orlando players. It was Cruz, and I don't think he knew Claire was behind him as he played it back to his goalkeeper, House. Things getting a little physical out here now as we wind towards the midway point of the third quarter. These two local rivals, their arenas just 50 miles apart. Here's Manfoot ahead to Brathwaite. Brathwaite gets by one, still in the corners, got guys in front, can't get it through, however. And finally, Thiago comes in there to clean up as Brathwaite and Moda tumble to the turf. Getting a little physical here in the third quarter, not unexpected. This is a game that both these clubs kind of see as a potential springboard to a postseason push to the playoffs, they hope. They will meet again March 2nd over at Silver Spurs, March 16th, and then they will conclude the regular season on April 13th at Silver Spurs. Be interesting to see if that one has playoff implications. Here's Pereira's. Gets it down on the left side to Diegas. Diegas with a shot in house right there to make the save. Here's Gerson on the counter now for Orlando as the pace has really picked up here in the third quarter as we kind of expected it might. Moda with it. A cursory look from Pereiras. He gets it ahead to Sandoval. Moda then over to House. Plays it deep into the Florida end of the field. Osvaldo Rojas taken down by a couple of Tropics players. Not sure which player they called it on. It does matter because if you accumulate 4 fouls in a half, that is a blue card. Here's the chance by Diegas as he spun and fired it right into the chest of House. Shot never got through as the Tropics try and clear the zone. Orico tried to play it off the board ahead to Diegas, but it just did not quite have enough pace on it. Here's Gerson. Gerson with a long shot. That just missed far post, and Rojas was lurking for a redirect. This is Alvarez with it. Alvarez shot and a goal. Sharp angle shot, and Silva had it covered short side, but it banks off the far post. And Orlando back on top with a 2-goal advantage here with 5:38 to play in the half. Ovation Bistro and Bar is the best smokehouse in Central Florida as we take a look at that replay. Tough angle shot. With amazing food and an $8.99 daily lunch special at all 3 locations in Winter Haven, Davenport, and now right here in Lakeland. Ovation Bistro and Bar's food speaks for itself. Ovation Bistro and Bar, where doing the extraordinary is ordinary. So we have a break in the action with 5:33 to go. It's Orlando 5, the Florida Tropics 3. Clay Roberts with a chance to regroup. And as he does that, we'll step aside for just a moment. Back with more MASL Soccer in a minute.
It's American Heart Association night here in Lakeland. And the Heart is racing here in the third quarter. Lots of goals as we expected. The Tropics with a couple, the SeaWolves with a couple now. If you like the uniforms that the Tropics are wearing tonight, and they're pretty sharp, you get a chance to bid on them after the game. Just head to the Tropics website, fltropics.com. Manfoot trying to battle in the corner. Brathwaite comes in there and crashes into House. No whistle. This is France with it. Proceeds from the auction sale will, of course, benefit the American Heart Association. Thank Winter Haven Hospital and Baycare for sponsoring American Heart Association night tonight. House has to track that one down from Mendoza. Challenge in there by Aristodamo. Or rather, that's Jose Luis Berche who's out there. Haven't seen him much tonight wearing number 15, but he is on the floor. Might be actually one of his first shifts. Berche on the step up, challenging Mendoza. France with it. Gets it into the Tropics end of the field to Cruz. France will track it down. Over to Thiago. Thiago keeps possession. Being watched by Antonio Manfoot, native of Cleveland, Ohio. Knows a thing or two about cold weather as well. Whistle and a foul. I think I think it was Berche who, or something, maybe came out onto the field. So whistle.
Ladies and gentlemen, we remind you to please refrain from throwing any objects onto the field.
Stops play for just a moment.
Thank you.
He spent a number of years up with the Syracuse Silver Knights before signing with St. Louis in the offseason as a free agent. So yeah, born in Cleveland, native of Cleveland, and played in Syracuse. Yeah, he knows a thing or two about snow. Here's Diegues. Diegues tries to get it in front, knocked out of there. Aristodamo trying to create some havoc. Here's J.P. Reyes, gets it to Rojas. Rojas cuts it in. Rojas, another fancy shot, and a save and a rebound and a goal. Good follow by Eduardo Cruz. And after getting within 4-3, Orlando with two quickies, and it's now 6-3. Well, Rojas took the Tropics defense to school there, and JP finally off his feet, and Rojas able to create the opportunity. Just when it looked like the Tropics might climb back in with some real momentum, Orlando with a couple of quickies of their own, and they have their 3-goal lead back. It's where they were at 4-1 early here in the third quarter when they scored in the first minute. Here's Melvin Boateng with it. Lays it off to Pereiras. Pereiras off the boards in front, and Boateng just misses on the redirect. Good idea there. All the way back to Silva. So after the Tropics get a couple within 2 minutes of each other, the SeaWolves do the same. In fact, minute 55 between their goals 5 and 6. Arico will set the offense here, being challenged by France to Ruiz. Ruiz off to Boateng. Plays it back to Arico. Tried to get it ahead to Ruiz. He and Boateng challenging in there 1 against 2. Now it's about 3 against 2, and they will do a drop ball here. Kind of like freezing the puck up against the wall in hockey. So Boateng and Schmerman will do the drop ball here. And Melvin comes out of there with it briefly, but
Comes free to Rojas. Rojas being watched by Arriaga. And Melvin will collect it. Over to Rico, tried to play it off the boards to himself, can't do it. Here's Gerson all alone. Look out here, Gordy. Gordy pulls it in, shot, Silva with a save. Gordy still all alone. And now here's Rojas with a shot that there's misses. No defense around for the Tropics. And Gordy Gerson able to roof it for his third of the night. I mean, Orlando just all kinds of time and space to whack away at Hugo Silva. And Gerson finally makes him pay, and it's 7-3. Tropics had 3 defenders. They were all back on the goal line, and never really did come out to challenge any of the shots. They were trying to protect Silva, who was scrambling around to be back there on the line, but that was an easy one for Orlando. Rothwaite trying to get possession in there with Toulouse. Finally comes to Victor France. Reyes going to be whistled for the foul. So he took down Eduardo Cruz right in front of the penalty box area. Wave still up by 2 in Kansas City, although they've gone to the second quarter. They're 3-1. There's a chance as the SeaWolves again got in behind the Tropics defense. That was Lewis Neal with the opportunity. It looked like the Tropics had climbed back in, but it has all collapsed rather quickly here since that third goal by Ruiz. Final minute of play here in the third quarter. Coyle Chiropractic is located on Bartow Road in Lakeland. Dr. Mike Coyle is your local spine health specialist. Go to coilechiro.net and see our full services, read testimonials, and much more. So start your road to total pain relief. Log on to coilechiro.net as Dieguez challenges in there. Here's Claire down to Ricardo. Ricardo with a shot. Save. Claire trying to tee it up on the rebound. Couldn't control it. And again, that's just kind of typical of how things have gone for the Tropics here in 2018-2019. Here's Manfoot. Tried to get it in front for Dieguez as he got a piece of house. Manny Ortiz going to have a word with Ricardo as he checks on Heiner, who collided with Dieguez's foot, although Ricardo did a pretty good job holding up on what could have been a worse collision than it turned out to be. House getting the call tonight instead of Peter Sliwa, who will see plenty of action as Orlando has just a brutal schedule coming up. They will play 2 games every weekend, and all but one of them are back-to-back for the rest of the season, basically. They've got a bye weekend, their 4th one of the year coming up in April, but the rest of the weekends are back-to-backers. Here's Osvaldo Rojas with a long shot that goes high and wide, but the Tropics, who pulled within 4-3, watch Gordy Gerson get the hat trick. That was his first half goal on the redirect. That actually at the time made it 3-1. And then Gerson with a nice redirect from the top of the box. And then finally, with the Tropics scrambling defensively, puts one up and over Gerson. It's Orlando 7, Florida 3. Back in a moment.
The fabric in this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new Pocket Hose Brass Bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the Brass Bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new Brass Bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never! Get the incredible 25-foot Pocket Hose Brass Bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot Jet Nozzle free. Order now, and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a Brass Bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your Brass Bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work toward getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-776-1642. That's 1-800-776-1642.
Well, the Tropics fans have not had a ton to cheer for here tonight. We'll see if the fourth quarter brings a different result. As we see the third quarter summary, lots of action started and ended by Gordy Gerson's goals. His second and third of the game. He had 4 here on January 12th, and he has the hat trick here tonight. The first one at 54 seconds of the half, and the last one at of the quarter rather, and the last one at 13:09. So once again, it's been Gordy Gerson's show. Pereiras gets it down to Brathwaite, trying to turn on Sandoval. Double teamed in there, still fights through, and then is taken down and no whistle. He whiffed on the shot, but I think it's because he got whacked in the leg there a little bit, but nice individual effort by Brathwaite nonetheless. Here's Gerson, lays it off to Thiago, who is stopped by Silva there. Aristodemo with it. Gets it back to Silva. Pressure here by Orlando as they go for the kill here. Here's Gerson. Gerson with a shot, and that one just misses. Aristodemo comes out of there with it. A whistle and a foul against Thiago. So those 3 goals by Orlando almost exactly all 2 minutes apart. 9, 11, and 13-minute marks of the quarter. Here's Dieguez trying to hit Salute on a little give and go. Dieguez with it in the corner. He's bumped. Now Rojas comes out of there with it for the SeaWolves. Rojas had a 3-on-2. Berche comes out to challenge. Slide by Aristodemo. Manfoot trying to get back to help. Manfoot battles with Mendoza. Still loose in there. Toulouse finally comes back in and gets it ahead to Ricardo Dieguez. Dieguez holds up as the Tropics make a line change. Both Toulouse and Manfoot head to the bench. Berche with it. Plays it back to Pereiras, who would wear the 6th attacker jersey if the Tropics elect to go that way at some point here. Here's Pereiras with it. Pereiras long shot. House with a good save, and then good defensive play by Rojas to head it back to his keeper. Rojas just about hit, or rather House just about hits the ceiling with that throw. Berche will head it to Matt Clare. Plays it all the way back to Silva. Tropics don't always go to a sixth attacker. They've had that opportunity a couple of times during the early part of the season down in the fourth quarter and have not elected to do that. Here's France. Tries to get it ahead to Mendoza, and that should, I think, be a blue card. Yes. And Jose Luis Berche is going to, I believe, get the gate for that infraction at the top of the arc. And I think it will be perhaps a shootout opportunity or a penalty kick. We'll see here. Actually, it's going to be a Rico that is called. I didn't think it was in the box, so it'll be a restart. It will not be a penalty kick. It was outside the arc there in the box. Dangerous spot to restart, but, well, it's my fault. I just talked about how Anthony has done a great job of staying out of the penalty box this year, so sorry about that, Anthony. There's a replay. Thought it was Berche in there, but it was actually Rico who had the takedown. Hugo Silva directing some traffic in front of him, getting Caio Ruiz where he wanted him. Here's Thiago on the restart. Thiago shot, good block in there by Boateng. It'll go out of play. Just a couple of seconds ticked off the penalty there. Orlando with Thiago, Schmerman. Surprisingly, Gerson not out there at the moment. He will be, I'm sure. Alvarez with it now. Down to Sandoval. Back on top to Alvarez and across to Thiago. Orlando in no particular hurry here. Worst thing that happens on the power play is, assuming they don't give up a shorthanded goal, is a couple more minutes come off the clock. Here's Ruiz with it, and he plays it off Sandoval, and it'll be a kick in for Florida. Silva with it. Tries to get it over to Toulouse. Schmerman with a challenge. Toulouse gets it ahead. Boateng to track it down, maybe, and there is a whistle and a blue card coming up here against Orlando, so that will negate the power play as Toulouse was taken down along the boards there. And as we have talked about many times in the past, you get contact at high speeds along those boards and the blue card comes out as many times as not. And it in fact will be Mario Alvarez getting the call. Just watching the replay, and as we were watching it, it was being shown on the video replay boards here at the RP Funding Center, and I think Mario thought too much of the call. So Hugo Silva, who scored a goal from about 65, 70 feet here the last home game against Milwaukee, will come on out over his center line as he is allowed to do now in the fourth quarter. Not allowed to do that as a goalkeeper for the first three quarters, but in the fourth quarter that rule is not in effect. So it'll be 4-on-4 here for the next 51 seconds. That's the time Rico has left in his penalty, and then the Tropics will get a man advantage for about 30 seconds. Here's Pereira, his long shot blocked by Schmerman. Pereira's tried to fight through a couple of Orlando defenders, and Freitas made a bid from about 150 feet that Silva got a piece of. Good idea by Thiago. Pereira's over to Toulouse now. 17 seconds left in the penalty to Arico. Toulouse, one-on-one at the yellow line. Over to Pereiras. Pereiras with it. Pereiras. Over to Max. Toulouse tries to get by Rojas, can't do it. Max still with it. Here comes Arico back out. Toulouse, the shot, good save by House, and that literally ricochets the rebound all the way out to the midfield line. That's how much Max got on that one. So the Tropics with a power play here for the next 40 seconds. They are 0 for 1 on the power play tonight, having a full 2-minute man advantage in the first half that they were not able to convert. Almost, you'd have to say, a must convert here as we're inside 10 minutes to go, down 4. Silva to Pereiras. Now over to Claire. Claire will finally bring it into the Orlando end of the field to Manfoot. Manfoot off the boards in front, and Brathwaite was just a little late getting there. Kalut fights through and finally knocked out of there by Thiago. Silva will play it to Claire. Penalty is over for Orlando, so both teams back 5 aside here. Kalut with it. Kalut has it knocked away by Cruz, who actually made that defensive play that I credited Thiago with just a minute ago. My apologies to Eduardo. Here's Brathwaite in it. He'll be challenged by a couple of SeaWolves off the boards in front, but nobody there again for the Tropics. Here's Brathwaite, and his shot goes wide. Pereiras tracks it down at the yellow line. Victor with it. Victor looking for some space, gets it off to Arico. Anthony. Orlando not giving up many shot lanes here. Getting in good position to cut off any attempt. Here's Pereiras. Pereiras tried to bend one through, and I think it hit his own man Boateng in front. Alvarez is going to be whistled for the foul. 8:20 to go. Still no sign of a 6th attacker here for Florida. Ruiz with it. Kai Ruiz off the boards in front. That whistles past Boateng as Melvin tried to collect the loose ball. Down low to Boateng now in the corner. Being watched by Schmerman. Back to Ruiz. And out to Pereiras. Now Hugo comes well up past the midfield line to direct some traffic. Ruiz will head to the bench on a line change. Looking for Boateng in the corner. Schmerman with a elbow or two and a whistle and a foul against Richard Schmerman. Came over in a trade from St. Louis in the offseason.
Tropics fans, we're in striking distance. Somebody scream!
Pereiras wants a little more distance here from the wall. Andy Ortiz going to oblige with that. Pereiras and Arico share a message. We'll see what they may have concocted. They'll lay it off to Pereiras, and again, Orlando gets in a shooting lane, and this time it's Mendoza with the block.
Cheddar's Ranch has been serving freshly made amazing food since 1979. Visit them on South Florida Avenue.
7:40 to go here, fourth quarter. Last official timeout, at least media timeout of the evening, so we will step aside for just a minute as well. It's Orlando 7, Florida 3, back with the finale and more Major Arena Soccer League action in just a moment. So the Tropics will go to the 6th attacker here as Victor Pereiras looks like he has the 6th attacker uniform on. One game elsewhere in the league this evening, and that is in Kansas City and Milwaukee. Big on the Comets right now, 5-1 in the second. So those other 3 games, including that big game in San Diego, were Friday night. The Tropics will be in St. Louis next weekend for a Sunday matinee, then back in the Sunshine State, but on the road for their first of 3 visits in Orlando on Saturday, March 2nd. their next game here at the RP Funding Center, or their own Sunday matinee against the Ambush on March 10th. Back in Orlando for a game on the 15th, and then the second Sunday matinee of the month against the Kansas City Comets on the 17th. So that's what the Tropics have in store. As we said, Orlando, having by far played the fewest number of games in the league, have a very difficult road ahead with back-to-back games literally almost every weekend from now until the end of the season in mid-April. So they will really start to have to pay the price and rest some players. One of the nice things for Orlando is they will have both Peter Sliwa and Heiner Haus available to them in goal. Here's Pereira's long shot and a goal! Not sure if it was deflected in front or Pereira's got another one from distance. I don't think anyone deflected it from the Tropics. I think it was Pereira's all the way. There was a little bit of traffic in front of house that might have deflected off one of the Orlando defenders, if anyone. It wasn't a Tropics player, so Pereira's picks up his 11th of the season. And the Tropics get to within 7-4 now. Still a lot of time, 7:19 to play, and obviously for the moment, Hugo Silva will come into goal. And Pereiras will come out as the sixth attacker when the opportunity presents itself again here. And it may right here as Arico gets it ahead to Manfoot. Manfoot. And that was probably not the most well-advised shot of Manfoot's career. And he knows it. So Orlando will get the throw in here from House. Looks down to the Florida yellow line, but knocked back the other way to Brathwaite by Arico. Brathwaite shot, goal! Well, no question that that one was deflected. Luis Mota got a foot in there, and it went off Mota's foot, but a bomb again by Brathwaite. And the Tropics are within 2 here, and still a lot of time to go, so don't go away. Welcome to the crazy, wonderful, wacky world of professional indoor soccer. Second goal of the night for Andre, and his 7th now since joining the Tropics in just 6 games. Schmerman will bring it into the Florida end. Long shot goes off the glass. Manfoot with some pressure here. He gets it now deep into the Orlando end. Sandoval recovers. Manfoot with it. Tried to play it back to Arriaga. Arriaga will get it now back to Manfoot. Oh, and House makes a good save. Manfoot almost made it a 1-goal game there. Still over 6 minutes to play. Diegas with it. Ricardo with a shot, and House with an easy save, and he'll settle things down for the moment. Pereiras ready to come on again as the 6th attacker if the opportunity presents. France will be whistled for the foul against Arico. So Hugo will head to the bench here, and Victor Pereiras will come on as the 6th attacker now, I think. He does indeed. Of course, that's high risk, high reward. Obviously, Orlando, if they get possession, can roll it into an open goal if the opportunity presents, but we'll see how it plays out. Arico down low to Diegas. Diegas off the boards in front. Brathwaite makes a bid for the hat trick, and he just misses. Toulouse gets it back from Claire. Now, I predicted Matt would have one tonight, so we'll see. Here's Claire powering through, top of the box. Matt Claire shot in front, and that's knocked away by France, but a corner kick opportunity for the Tropics as Matt Claire makes a good individual run through the box. Here's that opportunity by Manfoot, and a good anticipation by Heiner Haus to come out and cut down the angle to make the save. But a corner kick upcoming here for Florida. Comes out all the way to Pereiras at the yellow line. Pereiras takes the long shot, never gets through. Arico trying to battle in there, and a whistle and a foul against Sandoval. And Arico is shaken up. He's had a bad ankle for about 2 months now. He's been out there on heart and hustle basically the whole game, and he's going to head to the bench. Here's a long ball across to Claire, shot. Oh, and that one just missed on the short side. Here's a long chance, and Pereira's able to stop it. Gerson wanted a handball, but it just hit Pereira's in the midsection. The walking wounded continuing here for the Tropics. Here's a ball down to Brathwaite. Brathwaite off the boards in front, and that's knocked out. It'll stay in play, though. Brathwaite with it, took a whack at it, comes back to Claire. Across to Diegas, back out to Touloute now. Touloute at the yellow line, gets it across to Claire. Tropics generating chances here with the man advantage, look, or the sixth attacker. Look out here, though. Gerson with it. Tropics going to have to recover. And here's a long chance. That's going to go just, no, it is going to, thought it was going to skitter wide, and why not? It goes off the post and in, and another one for the Tropics that just kind of sums up the entire 2018-19 season. If there wasn't bad luck, there wouldn't be any luck at all for the Tropics. And the SeaWolves extend their lead now to 8-5. That might just be the dagger. Still time, certainly, at 4:29, but the hill just got a whole lot steeper. Eduardo Cruz will get credit for that. I believe that's his second of the night. We'll double check. Ruiz with it. Gives it to Touloute. Arriaga with it. And it came after the Tropics had a couple of good chances to cut it to one. At that point, you might even consider putting Silva back in for a couple of minutes. Here's Ruiz, one shot, go! I think we might have mentioned that indoor soccer can be a little wild and wacky. Ruiz bends one far post. Pretty strike. Ruiz with his second of the night. And it's 8-6. Still with better than 4 minutes to go. And indeed, Silva will come back between the pipes here, at least for the moment, while Orlando has possession.
Dover Tropics midfielder number 8, Kyle Ruiz.
Challenged by Arico. Good to see him back out there, so his ankle situation isn't dire. Here's Manfoot with a challenge on House, but Antonio just a step or two late. Inside 4 minutes to go now. So just 4 goals in the first half, 10 here in the second. Played out kind of how we expected in that regard. Just not enough on the Tropics side of the score sheet. Here's Rojas with a Rojas shot. Good save by Silva. Arico will come out for the challenge. So Cruz does have a couple tonight. Ruiz with a couple. Here's Brathwaite shot. That just misses far post as he makes another strong bid for a hat trick. Here's Pereira's, and he got a little too far underneath that one and sends it 3/4 of the way to Gordon Heights. Here's Brathwaite's chance, and boy, that did not miss by much. Just didn't quite have enough bend on it from in close to curl it inside the post like Ruiz did from about 35 or 40 feet out. But he and Antonio Manfoot have really been almost spectacular additions to this team. Here is a battle in the corner. Boateng can't get it, but Touloute does. Tried to quickly get it back to Boateng, and Gerson's going to get an easy one here. Nope, couldn't get it on goal as Silva headed to the bench. Here's Touloute. Touloute gets it ahead to JP Reyes. Got to go JP to Touloute. JP's been out there for a while, needed a line change. Here's Manfoot. Manfoot tried to bend it in the corner to clear, and that's going to go out of play, and it'll be a restart from the top of the penalty arc for the Tropics. Down 8-6, but a dangerous moment here for Orlando. See if the Tropics may actually spend a timeout to set something up. They've got Manfoot out there with Brathwaite, Berche, at least for the moment, Berche. Diegas down low, and Matt Clare will be the fifth forward out there. Berche, they call him El Bazooka with that big left foot. Let's see if he can find a little sliver there. The shot that never got through. Manfoot with it. Down to Diegas. Manfoot taken down, no whistle. Across to Clare. Clare with a shot. Another block by the Orlando defense. They deserve a big star next to all of their names tonight. They have a ton of blocked shots in this game. Here's Manfoot down in the corner, trying to get it in front to Diegas, but House will cover up and then call timeout with 2:17 to play. Suncoast Credit Union now has 2 locations in Polk County. Our pledge is to help save you money. For special member benefits and more information on becoming a Suncoast Credit Union member, check us out at suncoastcreditunion.com. Your fantastic future starts here. Of course, if you come out to a Tropics game, you can get a Tropics towel courtesy of Suncoast and Bond Clinic and all the Tropics sponsors. See those waving after all the Tropics goals here tonight. 8-6 with 2:17 to go, so still time as Clay Roberts and Tom Traxler will set their strategy here for the final couple of minutes. Orlando, should they hang on, would improve to 500 at 5-5 and theoretically move to within just a game of second in the division if Kansas City continues their effort in Kansas City tonight, which has not been a very good one. Milwaukee, last we knew, with a 5-1 lead at the Silverstein's Ice Center Arena. Milwaukee, of course, setting the pace in the South Central at 11-2. They are essentially running away with it, which we kind of expected. They are clearly the class of the division, and everyone kind of figured it would be a 4-team Donnybrook for that second playoff spot, and had the Tropics not had the injuries they've had, they would certainly be part of that. But right now they are very much on the outside looking in, and Orlando, St. Louis, and Kansas City may be the 3 heavyweights to slug it out over the final 2 months of the season here. Orlando happy to run a little clock. This is Cruz with it. He's got a 2-goal performance tonight. Ruiz has it. Ruiz tries to find Brathwaite, but Schmerman intercepts. Now back to Ruiz, a whistle and a foul on Orlando. Just inside 2 minutes to go now. Silva comes off, Pereira's comes on. Here's Arico. So 6th attacker again for Florida to Ruiz. Ruiz. Can see him improving every single game. Here's Ruiz over to Toulouse. Toulouse shot, misses near side. Brathwaite tries to fight through for the rebound. Here's Ruiz coming in, but can't control, and Orlando's going to get a cheapie here. And that will be the dagger with 1:31 to play. That is Thiago going to get credit for the goal. Well, the Tropics hung a 9-6 loss on Orlando back here in December, and the SeaWolves 91 seconds away from doing the same here tonight and taking their second straight over Florida here at the RP Funding Center. 3 more games, as we've mentioned, between these two. Still to come over at the Silver Spurs Arena. The first one March 2nd, second one March 16th, and then the finale of the regular season for these 2 clubs at Silver Spurs on the 13th of April. Now the Tropics have just been chasing a couple or 3 all night. They got to within 1 at 4-3, but things kind of went south after that. Here's another one, and this will make it 10-6.
Goal
Rojas piling on, and that's kind of what Orlando is doing here in the final couple of minutes. I think it was Cruz again that's going to get credit, and that'll be the hat trick for Eduardo tonight. Big smiles for him, understandably. Not a lot of smiles elsewhere, however, here at the RP Funding Center. Tropics at one time were 3-3 this season. They are going to fall to 4-11, which means in their last 9 they have won just once. Just too many injuries to overcome, too many other things going on to really get focused and get consistent efforts. And when you're shuttling players in and out of the lineup, it just becomes difficult to find that consistency game in and game out, and the Tropics are paying that price here on what was thought to be a couple of months ago a team that could definitely challenge in the South Central, not necessarily challenge Milwaukee during the regular season, but certainly everyone else in the division and be right there for a playoff chance. Brathwaite with it at the top of the arc. Loses possession and will play out the final 15 seconds here in Lakeland. Orlando will be on the road for a couple next weekend as they start their grueling part of the schedule. Won't be easy for the SeaWolves just because of that schedule, but they've got the goaltending depth to do it. They will be in St. Louis on the 22nd and then in Kansas City on the 24th. Toulouse with it in front, and that's a block. That's kind of appropriate because Orlando has had a lot of those tonight as well. And the final horn blows here in Lakeland, and the SeaWolves will head east about 50 miles back to Kissimmee and the greater Orlando area. Winners tonight here at the RP Funding Center by a final score of 10-6. The SeaWolves, as we said, on the road at St. Louis and Kansas City next weekend. The Tropics on the road in St. Louis next Sunday. As we take a look at the fourth quarter summary, a lot of goals. Eduardo Cruz with the hat trick, with 3 of them after the Tropics pulled within 4-3 on the goal by Brathwaite. Looked like perhaps there was some life, but Eduardo Cruz made sure that Orlando will get the W. The Tropics fall to 4-11 now on this very frustrating 2018-19 season. So it was mostly Orlando early. The Tropics made a bid in the second quarter with the comeback, but Gordy Gerson with a hat trick tonight, Eduardo Cruz with a hat trick tonight, and just a little bit too much Orlando as Victor Pereira's tried on the 6th attacker, but the hill was just too big to climb. The final, once again, from Lakeland, the Florida Tropics fall to the Orlando SeaWolves 10-6. Have a great week, everybody.